you can learn anywhere. Grand Canyon, at home, you can travel the United States, and you're not pinned down to a location for a school. So today we're here with Carolyn and Garrett Seifert. How have things been going with you guys?
Pretty good. I mean, I think we've kind of gotten settled here in St. Louis. So I'm a med-surg nurse, so I'm working on an ortho unit right now. It's pretty cool.
Do you know how much longer you're going to be there?
Our contract ends on the 10th of October, and then we're going to head to Texas after that.
And we're going to chat a little bit about homeschooling, because with school starting up and parents are kind of worried about sending their kids back to school. So how many kids do you have?
We have a 9-year-old daughter, a 6-year-old, and a 3-year-old boys.
Yeah. Okay. And all homeschool because you're on the road, obviously.
Yeah.
Right. So we decided from the get-go that we would start homeschooling to begin with because Garrett and I were actually homeschooled basically all the way through high school. So we decided right away that we wanted to at least start with our kids, and it's easier to start with lower levels, preschool, kindergarten, first grade, because everybody should have that basic knowledge. And then as your child gets older, you learn and you grow along with them in that homeschool journey.
To get started in homeschooling, how do you get enrolled?
All of it really is dependent on what your state's laws are. So whatever state that you're a resident of, you go to either the school board there or look online. There's a great resource called HSLDA, which is Homeschool Legal Defense Association, and they provide legal services for homeschoolers all over the country. But one of the services they provide that's free is Know My Homeschooling Laws per state.
So there are some states, especially like on the East Coast, that are going to be much higher requirement levels. And this map is really nice. It lays it all out. There's the high requirement states, you have moderate requirement states, and then the low requirement states. There were some other things like who can teach, who's the teacher. And so those with higher level education, like with a degree, can be a teacher. Those who've gone through a state approved class. So that's the main thing. Know what your laws are. And then if you're very new to this, getting a hold of some homeschool groups or co-ops and start asking a lot of questions.
Especially ones that are in your area where you can meet more personally.
And then when it comes to like choosing curriculum, our parents used to go to conventions and curriculum fairs, and they still have those. And if there's one in your area, that's really great because they have hundreds of thousands of books, and you can flip through them and decide, is this going to work for me? Is it going to work for my child? Is it going to work for our lifestyle? If you're even going to go that curriculum route, because there are people that aren't going the paperback sort of book route anymore.
So do you both just kind of like take turns homeschooling, or is it one more than the other?
It really and truly, it's about 50-50.
It takes some time to learn your teaching style and your kids' learning styles too.
Do you do the whole like Monday through Friday weeks and then like Saturday, Sunday they have off kind of thing?
In general, when we're in like a normal school year, we do normally do that. Mm-hmm. But because of how the pandemic has kind of thrown kind of a wrench into things, the kids are actually just doing a few subjects on the weekends. I'm like, once you get these done, we'll be able to take a couple weeks off and have a summer break.
You're following the curriculum, and then like once you complete a certain amount, then do they like graduate to the next grade?
It's kind of more tailored per kid, really. We go at their learning. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, our daughter,
she's finishing up 3rd grade in a couple of subjects. She's finishing up 4th grade right now in her math level. Her reading is, again, very far surpassed. You really have to work with the child and what they're interested in. Then you need to decide what type of homeschooling you're going to do. And there's conventional homeschooling like what he and I experienced. Book learning, you sit down, you do the work, you do tests. There's online learning. So you can choose a program like Easy Peasy. Our friends use Easy Peasy, or use your state public school online program. There are co-ops where you go with your child to a co-op and you teach a class as a teacher, and your kids get taught from multiple different parents, and it's kind of a swap meet, I guess, if you could say that, of homeschooling. So if somebody is really great with math, another person's really great at art, you teach those specialty to a large classroom of homeschoolers. And then there's road schooling and unschooling, and you could almost sort of make them synonymous, but not quite. So we're road schoolers. We take our adventures out onto the road. We do national park adventures.
Instead of just reading about rocks or something geology textbook, we can go to the Grand Canyon.
And so those days, we consider those like we're going out on a field trip. You choose what your child will learn from. So some will learn from a book and others won't. When it comes time for your child to move on to high school and college, there are multiple ways to do it. I highly recommend, if the child is interested in doing the higher level education, to do community college, and you can do that online now too, and then they can start earning college credits, and then it doesn't matter what they did in high school because they have college credits already. So that's how I became a nurse. As a high schooler, I did community college credits. Then when I was an adult and working, I resumed community college, got my AA, and was able to transfer right to a university.
What do you think some pros and cons would be of homeschooling?
You can learn anywhere. Grand Canyon, at home, you can travel the United States, and you're not pinned down to a location for a school.
Yeah.
And then you can change your curriculum. If it's just not working for you and your child, you can just toss it
and
try a different type of learning, a different type of curriculum. This one is a pro and a con. You're in charge. And so it's a pro, you're in charge, you know what your child is learning, but then it's also a con,
because
you're in charge.
Also responsible.
You're responsible for them to learn. And then I would say the biggest con that we've had is it can be a financial strain, because you don't get government assistance as a homeschooler like some, public school, private school.
Do your kids ever make friends at all the different locations you're at?
Emma's a social butterfly.
Yeah.
She loves friends.
Yeah.
We have found our ways of allowing her to stay connected, and she still stays connected with people back from our home state and people we've met along the way. Yeah,
we're also part of a couple different full-time RVing groups that have programs for kids and all their events and rallies and things like that.
That's a lot of awesome advice. Do you have anything that you'd want to add?
Do your research, ask lots of questions, and then don't be afraid to try it out, and don't get discouraged. Yeah. I mean, when it comes to travel nursing, we have to be really, really flexible. Things change at the drop of a hat. We have to learn a system within a week and just go with the flow. And it's the same with homeschooling. You have to be really flexible because you're working with another individual and how they learn. If anybody has any other questions, they can get a hold of us as well. You can find us on social media at Diary of a Family on YouTube and on Facebook. And then you can email us at, Connect
at diaryofafamily.com.
Yeah.
Cool.
We're willing to answer questions.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, with everything going on, something people consider. Thanks, guys. Safe travels.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.